we still have to remain in Parliament. 2 days ago, the Finance Minister was in Parliament, talked about the supplementary budget. I'm asking you this because we still have, we gave you a synopsis that also talks about a suit about the Bank of Ghana in the Supreme Court, which dismisses a case on the city's performance, etc. And the applicant was Dr. Ephraim Baden for perpetual injunction directing the Bank of Ghana to refrain from deferring to a floating exchange rate regime in the corner of its monetary policy. We still have issues about the economy for which substantially expenditure still really relates to. What do you make of the minister's presentation before the House?
It's the same thing. It's a rearrangement of the country's debts. Nothing more.
You don't seem impressed.
At all. What was new?
Well, you're in the opposition, so that's the argument.
That's exactly the point I'm making. So if I make wrong statements, confront me with the correct one. But the truth of the whole thing is that, what did the minister come to tell us? That I set the targets, I did not meet them. So I'm revising them. Practically, that's all. And then he is asking for extension in terms of
quantum of
money. That is extra money. But none of that is going into investment in the economy. He's rearranging the debt. So he's taking money that has already been voted for interventions in the economy. He's not going to spend them there. He's going to use them to pay interest. He wants more money to be able to pay interest. Nothing. No new investment in the economy. The money that he's asking for is only to enable him pay more interest.
I've perused a number of write-ups, and especially when the economy has become a subject for which we need to have a lot more knowledge about. That seems to conclude that, for example, this year we're paying about 9.2 billion Ghana cedis on interest alone.
That's right. Indeed, that has become the major government expenditure. But you see, taking loans to invest, it's a good thing. Unfortunately, we are not getting value for money. As we speak now,
I don't get today, we have interchanges, airports.
As we
this is not the first time I'm telling you this.
As we speak today, we have discussed this a couple of times. But if we're going to do a value for money audit of those things, you see how much the country has lost. But I'm talking now, as we speak now. In April, on 1st April 2014, for example, the government brings a loan agreement for acquiring equipment, German equipment, for use by district assemblies. It is approved. The equipment have arrived. A new company has been registered instead of the purpose for which it was agreed. A new company has been registered. All the equipment has been assigned to that company outside approval. And then the president's brother, the Minister of Local Government, writes to the company to give them to engineers and planners, ostensibly to the Sales Dodo River. Actually, he's using them on his own private contract sites at Klagon and Tafo. He has branded the vehicles, which are government vehicles, bought with government loans, in his own company's name, engineers and planners. Now, what value is Ghana getting for that loan? If you look at yesterday, I went back for a copy of the Hansard to look at all the things that were put before the House, which was approved. That because the Federal Roads Department is often not able to reach the local areas, some of the assemblies, their roads are bad. So we want the equipment to be able to go there and keep shaping them so farm produce and things will not be locked up. Their equipment arrived. Now they are doing private contract works here in Accra. None of the assemblies have received it. Now, what value is Ghana getting for that loan? So what returns will you get to go and pay back the loan? That's why we're overwhelmed by payments and interest.
As members of parliament,
these are all over the place. It's not once. There are so many other instances.
As members of parliament, how do you get to question some of these anomalies if you notice them?
Well, I got this information last Monday, and as soon as I got the information, got the letters, got the photographs, we sent people to the sites to find that the vehicles have been branded in engineers and planners, and now...
Were the vehicles specified in the contract or in the purchase agreement?
Yes. Vehicles, equipment. He has taken 20 trucks, 3 bulldozers, 3 excavators, 3 payloaders. Yes, low loaders.
But you do understand he may have more than a number of those trucks.
So why do you need the government of Ghana to do your work? The work you're doing,
you sure
you'll be paid for.
The ones he's using to do those works that you've cited, Lashibi Club,
I can confirm that they are registered 2015. They are registered in the names of the company that was assigned, and the letter that instructed was signed by Nilanti van der Poel, instructing the company to release them to him. We have all copies of all that, you know. But the critical thing is that in Parliament, what I can do, I've done it. Immediately filed an urgent question, asking the minister to come and answer questions on how the vehicles and things are. But knowing how our system works, I fear that we may not get to answer, to get the question on the floor before we rise tomorrow. So it is important for us that we put the matter out.
So we're saying all this because of fears that we're not getting value for money.
And yes, not just fears. In actual fact, we're not getting value for money. That's why we're overwhelmed by interest. The investments we make like this one should be working in the rural areas, clearing the roads have started. The vehicles, the roads are not tarred in many of the rural areas. So these equipment are needed there to work on the road so that there will be free movement of goods and services and human beings. But here they are, doing private work. What value is Ghana getting for that private work that the vehicles are being used for? Now, and yet we will pay that loan.
If we constantly say that as far as our borrowing is concerned, now the ratio to GDP, so to speak, for which we know that our current debt is, if you look at the rate in excess of over 60%, and we're going to hit the 70% mark, are there fears from you, not you per se, but for those who criticize government, that we'll get to the point where we become unsustainable, despite all the measures we're making to, or we're undertaking to make sure that we're austere in our expenditure?
I think we're already there.
We are there?
Yes.
You're sounding alarming, aren't you?
No, let's be realistic. All the debts that we have mentioned, it now comes to about 95 billion or so. Yeah. That is debts that are owned to international organizations and banks locally. If you add the arrears that government owes to statutory institutions
and the contractors
to get fund, to health fund, to the common fund, if you add all that, they are all debts. They are monies that are statutorily due these agencies that government have declined paid.
And so they are debts on our books.
And then you add the local
and accountable because they are liabilities, right?
That's right. Okay. All of them together, we have already crossed the unsustainable mark already. That's why I hear China has written to Ghana that it will not going to disburse the loans for certain projects because our debt burden will be too much. Just last week.
Yes, I know about that too.
So the danger is that we are treading very dangerous ground as a country. The effect of that to the ordinary man is what we are not discussing enough. We're talking about debt to GDP ratio. What does that mean to me and you? What can it do to you if we fail? Should we get to the Greece situation? Do we have any European Union to bail us out? Will African Union be in a position, or ECOWAS be in a position to bail us out? And should that happen, as it's happening in Greece now, your money in the bank, you don't have access to it. How is that going to, how are we going to manage? And that's why we should all be careful. We should all be talking about the level of corruption, deep corruption and indiscipline, financial indiscipline that has engulfed this country. We should all condemn the things that are wrongly done. We should call the president, ask him to call his family and friends to order in the way they misuse public property, the cost of which is borne by the state.
The finance minister 2 days ago has been on radio, I believe even yesterday, making succinct arguments that seem to go contrary to all the fears that you seem to be expressing. To him, for example, the city is stabilizing. The IMF has made sure that expenditure is within a certain pattern and range. So at the end of the day, the overruns that we exponentially were experiencing the last 2-3 years, we're not likely to experience that magnitude by the close of the year. That ultimately also means there will be sectorial improvement in areas in the economy.
I don't understand how he comes by those conclusions. Yes, you cut down on your expenditure if you are able to, but I doubt he will. In 2012, we were doing well, we were stable, because we already gone to IMF in 2009. By 2012, we were stabilizing. Then for election, bam, he permitted huge unbudgeted expenditure, huge sums of money which are to date not accounted for. How did we get there? That is the bane of us here. In the last 3 years, 2 days ago, they celebrated the death of Professor Mills. And indeed, that was the beginning of our worst nightmare in governance. From the time the current president, John Mahama, took over, hell broke loose. No discipline. Anything, everything, anything goes. But you see, if you reduce your expenditure, you must increase your revenue. Is that happening? It is not. Revenue, the report you brought also, all the revenue targets were missed. The amount of money...
It is true the last 3 years we've not been meeting our revenue targets.
So it is not sufficient to say that you have cut down your spend, because it's a two-way. You want to bring your credit level of creditworthiness up. That is what strengthens the value of your currency and your economy. But if you cut down on your expenditure and you don't improve your revenue, the imbalance
volatilities we're experiencing in the economy, do you think it's subtle or it's still lacking? And so whilst we're improving on stability as far as the appreciation or depreciation of the cedi against the major international currencies, because of fears still among the business community and those who tend to spend, we're likely to see just a little surge or jolt when they see some or experience some uncertainties.
You see, my brother, there are things that we must be plain and open about in this country. Productivity heavily depends on energy. The energy sector, the lip service is way too much. Oh, car power this. All those agreements that have been signed, go and find out from the Ministry of Finance whether there is money provided for paying for those agreements or powering them. We are quick to tout, we have signed this agreement, it will bring so much power. The Minister of Finance saying a lot of them are done on his blind side and he has no financial provision for them. And so we are talk big.
He told you that in caucus?
Look, the easiest thing is to investigate. Okay, we have agreed car power is coming. Where is it being funded from? They are supposed to pay. The delegation that went to Turkey, they brought us photographs of the thing. It's like a huge generating plant built on a ship and it's floating. I said, here it is, we are building. But first, $50 million down. Has it been sent there? None.
Yes, my investigations the last 2 shows that that very little credit hasn't gone. Yeah.
That's the point I'm making. That the talk is too much. Let's be
but we're still being told that September the date will be.
How many times have we been told things which were unrealistic from day one? And yet we were made to believe that is going to happen.
Joe, you have to give the benefit of the doubt. We all should. We want
how many times must we give benefits for the doubt on one particular matter?
Okay.
But you see, I have always believed that one of my professors, I remember clearly, Professor Kumado, told us in school that, listen, if you don't want quarrels at home, let your wife see your pay slip. This is all I have. She'll be reasonable in her demands. But if you're hiding the things in your pocket, and he or she wants something and they say you don't have money, she doesn't believe you. So if we were truthful about our real position, Ghanaians will agree to the things
then
we
you, the
need.
opposition, you take advantage of it. You say they're not good enough, so you have to come in. That's
Well,
the reality of it.
If that is the truth, if we come in, can we hide it? Can we lie about it?
Well, perhaps maybe you can find better ways of...
Yes, I agree, but the people must know. It calls for some sacrifices which you must get loyalty of the people to do it. But when you give the impression that it's not what it is. But the truth of the matter is, really, there's nothing amiss except money. You bring this generation power, somebody's private station. What is this?
Independent power generating.
It's not, I mean, now the president went to commission. It's not a power generating thing. It is this exchange where the person buys power from VRE and distributes within the enclave. And he built his own
power distribution.
Yes. The president went, I want to commission it. They commissioned and he said it's an independent power generation thing. The company is not generating any power. So when you come and spew these lies, what are you doing to yourself and to the country? You give people false hope. These are some of the challenges we have. We must be straight about the things. People must know exactly what. That is what governance is about. It is not your business. It's the people's business. You are only managing it on their behalf. You are duty bound to provide all the information honestly. Unfortunately, that's what we're getting. we appear to be told that you don't, if you know them from the truth, you panic. So you have to keep telling you the lies and to collapse on our heads. We should focus on changing our strategies.
So to you, the energy issue is a big factor for which the economy is not doing well. We all know that.
Yes, it
but
is.
We're being told that it's been solved. By September, we expect the car power to be in. By the close of the year, subsequently by the middle of next year, we should get some stability in already the signed agreements. And by the close of next year, we should be well and good. So by December next year, when the election is taking place, at least there should be relative stability in power
provision. I'll be very, very, very happy if that's. Just 2 days ago, I've had to go and credit solar systems.
For your home?
Yes, because they're generating the cost of fueling and the noise is irritating, you know. But I'm going to pay through my nose. Spread over a period for me, but I'm going to pay through my nose. Now, if the power supply stabilized, I wouldn't need to invest that amount of money. I actually need that money for something else, but I have to use it if I'm going to get some level of comfort at home. Right. Now, so if indeed the path is going to stabilize, I'll be happy. But I'm entitled to know the true steps that you're taking to stabilize. My own friend, Kwabena, very close friend, actually, the Minister for Power. Actually,
Dr. Kwabena Donko.
Yes.
He says he will resign by December if...
that's the point. Is that a step or...
He's your colleague in Parliament.
Not just that. He's my close friend from university.
Oh, really?
Yes. He announced...
Is he going to resign, really?
I don't know.
He's your close friend. You should know he's a man of his word. So.
Well, but is that what you need? If he resigns and I don't get power, what is the value in that? So my interest is not in whether or not he resigns.
The value is that he's a man of principle.
So, does that give me power? Your principle should lead you to tell me the steps you're taking to get me power. We have signed so many agreements so far. Parliament has approved so many of them. But it is not improving the power supply.
The agreements you've signed, which have you monitored in the various...
Yes.
Are they
ask
ongoing?
Questions. We don't see anything ongoing. Right. We just agreed that on the car power, so far, the prerequisites...
Not 2 weeks ago, I did some inquiries.
Yeah, the prerequisites...
The LC has not gone.
Right. Yes. The prerequisites have
$50
not
million
gone.
US dollars. Well, perhaps I may be wrong. Maybe today went or yesterday.